welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're coming to you live from NRC Baltimore today and diving deep into a topic that's super important for all you sailors transitioning from AC to the Navy Reserve.
It's all about satisfactory participation.
Basically, your guide to unlocking all the amazing benefits the Reserve offers.
Think of it as your roadmap to success in the Reserve.
We'll break it all down, make sure you're in formation right from day one.
We're going to make sure you're not lost in a sea of acronyms and regulations.
Exactly. We'll translate everything into plain English so you can really focus on what matters most, your Reserve career.
Sounds good. Let's start with the basics.
Okay. What exactly satisfactory participation?
Right. It sounds pretty official. Maybe a little intimidating, but honestly, it's simpler than you think.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine you're back in school, right? You need enough credits to pass and move on to the next grade.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Well, it's similar in the Reserve. You're earning points towards what we call a satisfactory year.
So it's like a yearly checklist to make sure I'm on track.
You got it. But here's a little twist. Your Reserve year isn't the typical October to September calendar like you might be used to.
So it's not just following the regular calendar year?
Nope. It's actually personalized. It starts on the anniversary of when you first joined or rejoined the Reserve.
Wow, so my Reserve year is like a custom-made calendar.
Exactly. It's all about your individual journey.
I like that personalized touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we earn those points? What's the secret formula?
Well, think of it as a combo of active participation and authorized time off.
Okay, so showing up is important, I'm guessing.
For sure, especially for selected reservists.
Right, that's me now.
You'll need at least 40 out of 48 scheduled drills marked as present satisfactory.
Got it. Be there, be present, get those points.
Exactly, or you can have an authorized absence.
Okay, so there are times when it's okay to miss a drill.
Absolutely. There are two types of authorized absences.
Lay it on me.
First up, we've got the service-related ones.
What does that cover?
Things like if you're on active duty orders or dealing with a medical issue that prevents you from drilling, other service commitments that might keep you from attending.
Makes sense. You might be serving in another capacity and can't make it to drill.
Exactly. Now, the second type is personal authorized absences.
Okay, what falls under that category?
Situations like demobilization, temporary work conflicts, or personal hardships.
So life happens and the Reserve understands that.
Absolutely. But the key here is communication.
So if something comes up, I need to let my command know and make sure I'm covered.
You got it. Open communication is key.
Way better to address things head on than to let them snowball into a bigger issue.
Couldn't agree more. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about what not to do.
The things we want to avoid.
Right. So if you miss a drill without a valid reason, that's considered an unexcused absence.
Or as we like to call it, a UA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. You were expected to be there and you weren't. No good reason, no points.
UA, I definitely want to avoid that.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Then there's the admin unsatisfactory.
That one sounds a little more serious.
This one's a bit trickier because it can involve things like subpar performance during drills.
So like consistently not meeting the standards for my rate.
Exactly. Or even UCMJ violations during drill weekends.
So it's not just about showing up, it's about showing up and performing well.
You got it. You're representing the Navy Reserve.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've talked about earning points and what happens if we don't meet the requirements.
Right.
But why are we making such a big deal about these points in these satisfactory years? What's the big picture here?
I'm glad you asked. These satisfactory years you accumulate directly impact your eligibility for retirement benefits down the line.
So it all ties back to the long game.
Each year is like a building block for your future in the Reserve.
So all these points really add up to something significant.
They do. It's like an investment in your future with the Navy Reserve.
And it's not just about retirement, right? There are other benefits too.
Absolutely. Consistent satisfactory participation can open doors to specialized training opportunities and even advancements in your rate.
So it's like I'm building a solid reputation, proving that I'm reliable and ready to contribute.
Precisely. It shows you're committed and dedicated, which just makes you stand out.
Got it. I'm seeing the value here. But I got to be honest, sometimes those regulations feel a bit overwhelming.
I hear you. Those regulations can be a lot.
Any tips on how to stay informed and on top of things?
Definitely. One thing they emphasize is being proactive with communication.
Okay, so keeping my contact info up to date with my NRA and Unit CL.
Exactly. And just as importantly, let them know about any changes that could affect your participation.
Like what kind of changes? Give me some examples.
Think big life events, changes in your medical status, dependents, employment, anything that could affect your mobilization potential.
So if I suddenly become a world-famous lion tamer or win the lottery, I should probably give my CO a heads up.
Well, for the sake of your shipmates, maybe hold off on the lion taming during drill weekends.
Noted. No lions on deck.
But seriously, anything that impacts your availability or ability to fulfill your reserve obligations, it's best to be upfront and discuss it with your chain of command.
They're there to help me navigate those situations.
Yeah, exactly. They're your support system.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
As we start to wrap things up, let's do a quick recap for our listeners, especially those who are new to the reserve.
Love it. Let's break it down to the essentials.
Okay, hit me with the key takeaways.
First and foremost, that satisfactory year in the Navy Reserve, it's based on your individual anniversary date, not the standard fiscal year.
So mark that date on your calendars, folks. It's the start of your personalized journey toward those benefits.
And when it comes to earning points toward a satisfactory year, active participation is key. Attending those scheduled drills, getting that present satisfactory mark, that's the most direct path.
But, like we discussed, life happens. Sometimes missing a drill is unavoidable.
Right.
The key is to communicate with my chain of command, make sure I'm covered with the right documentation.
Exactly. No UAs on your record.
Got it. And as we wrap up this deep dive into satisfactory participation, we want to leave you with a final thought.
You know, now that you've got a better understanding of how it all works, think about what you want out of your reserve career.
Yeah.
Are you aiming for those leadership roles?
Or maybe you're interested in pursuing specialized training in a specific field.
Or, hey, maybe you're simply looking to maintain your skills and stay connected to that Navy community.
So I encourage everyone listening, take ownership of your reserve journey. Reach out to your local NRC or NRC Baltimore if you have questions along the way.
They're there to support you every step of the way.
A huge thank you again to NRC Baltimore for having us today and for their incredible dedication to empowering reservists.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into satisfactory participation. We hope you're leaving with some new insights and a renewed sense of excitement for all the amazing things that Navy Reserve has to offer.
It's an incredible opportunity.
Remember, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay in formation. Fair winds and following seas.